Hello, this is a video to show you my Midjourney prompts for creating Amazon KDP books. First of all, I'm going to show you how to create the interiors, the colouring pages of a colouring book, and then how to do a cover of a colouring book, and then I'm going to show you another prompt for just a general book cover that I would use for specifically planners or journals. I'm using really simple natural language for Midjourney in order to create these prompts, but I have been experimenting with them over the last month. I've had 2 sales of colouring books. The ideas in part came from ChatGTP. I'll probably be using Midjourney for all my print-on-demand image needs from now on, or if not Midjourney, some other AI image generator. I hope you enjoy the video. So here are 2 prompts for the interior of colouring books. The first one here is for an adult colouring book, and the second one is for a child's colouring book. So very simple, a printable black and white colouring page featuring whatever the subject of the colouring book is, comma, clean line art, and this at the end is the aspect ratio, and that is for if you're doing 8.5 by 11 inch letter size upright book. But if you're doing it square, then you would just delete that because Midjourney does images square by default. So here's one I did earlier. This is for the kids one. It's a printable colouring page for children featuring a cute dog in a garden. We'll have a look at these. And you'll see this one's got funny ears. It's okay. That one is kind of okay. There's some greys here that we'd have to treat in Photoshop. Obviously there's some text here that you need to either get rid of or crop out. That one's kind of okay. This one's probably the best one. Let's choose number 4. So as you know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll upscale 4. And this is one I did for adults, a printable black and white colouring page featuring shoppers in a Walmart, clean line art with the aspect ratio. And again, we'll open that in the browser. There is a colouring book genre, people shopping at Walmart, and it sells well. Don't ask me why. And these are all pretty much of a muchness. All of them have greys in there that you'd have to bump up the contrast to make them into more like black and white lines, or sometimes you can put greys in colouring books, it's fine. Let's do another one. There's our upscaled number 4 dog that's finished already. If I was doing that, I would download that image and then start to work on it, upscaling it. So in order to do the imagine prompt, I go /PRO, and then that comes up with the imagine prompt, and then paste in the prompt. Let's think of a design we want. Dinosaurs, a printable black and white colouring page featuring 2 dinosaurs drinking from a lake, and I'm doing that one square, so there's no aspect ratio. I've never seen this before. I think I've maybe seen this once before, but not with 3 of the options. It's got confused about colouring pages, so it's put coloured crayons in the image, which is of course not what we wanted, and this one is kind of what we wanted, although it's not much good. This dinosaur doesn't have a very believable head. It's not even worth looking at. So I'm going to have to do another one just to show you this works. I think maybe it was because I put the number 2 there. I don't know what, but let's do another one. Printable black and white colouring page featuring a sports car in front of a Parisian cafe. Let's see if that one works. Oh, you see, I've forgotten to put the prompts in there. So what we do is copy that, /PRO, return, paste, return. Okay, now you know it's worked because it's in grey and it says waiting to start. I forgot to put the prompt there, so it'll just put that up as a message and ignore it. So it's starting now, and here they are. Let's have a look at them in the browser, and this is much better. Text in Midjourney is always garbled. It's not the end of the world really, because you know you're not going to get into trouble with copyright, but you can either take that out or leave it in as you wish. I wouldn't choose this one because it's cropped to near the front of the sports car. This one's nearly cropped off the back of the sports car, but that's a bit better. This one, you've got the whole of the sports car in, but it kind of got the front of the car at the back. There's the steering wheel. That's very odd. Finally, I guess this one would be the one you'd go for because you've got the whole of the sports car in. I'd probably come in on the sports car a little bit, but if you bump up the contrast and upscale it, that one would be okay to put in a square colouring book. Okay, so for the cover of the colouring book, you want a similar image but coloured in. And I found this to be 10 times more difficult than actually doing the interiors. So I've got a short one and a long one here. An illustration featuring the subject of your colouring book. Final image should be rendered with coloured crayons and black lines. We want it to look like one of the colouring pages that's already been filled in. That's what you get on the colouring book front covers. However, sometimes they also leave some white space to show that you colour it in. So this one is an illustration featuring subject. Final image should be rendered with coloured crayons and black lines with a lot of white space waiting to be coloured in on high quality paper. So you just play around with these. Sometimes you put on high quality paper. Anyway, you don't get the same result using the same prompt every time with Midjourney. So you do have to play around with these prompts. But let's use this one and see how we go. So we're back on my Midjourney bot /PRO. Let's do our dinosaurs T-Rex walking in a forest. See how we go with that one. So here they are. Let's have a look at them in the browser. So they do look like sample of a colouring book. A classic Midjourney error here. This Tyrannosaurus Rex has 3 back legs. You'd either have to get rid of one in Photoshop or go again. They've obscured the head of the dinosaur behind a tree, so that's no good. That's alright. And you've got space for text for the title. And this one's kind of okay. Could brighten that one up and put the book title easily at the top there. They all kind of look like colouring book covers, but let's try the other prompt. So let's do the same subject of that T-Rex walking in a forest. But here we have the longer prompt, trying to leave some white space so it looks more like a colouring book cover. And let's take the aspect ratio off so we'll get a square one this time. So here they are. Let's open them in the browser. You see in this one it has coloured some of it and left some of it black and white. So if you bump up the contrast for this one, it will look a lot better and you've got space to put a title. Unfortunately, something funny's going on with his front leg there. This one is almost totally black and white. Again, something's gone wrong with the leg. That one, again, he's only got 3 legs. You do have a problem with legs and fingers and limbs with Midjourney. Here's another one. I guess you could say that the dinosaur and the tree trunks aren't coloured in, whereas the forest is. You could bump up the contrast and bump up the saturation of that one, and it would more or less work with a cover. But with covers of colouring books, you do have to try again and again and again. And with the interiors are easy and you can whack them out pretty quickly. And my last KDP book cover prompt would be for any sort of planner, journal or logbook. Say if it's aimed at an older female audience, then usually they are floral background illustrations. You may want to put vector graphics in there when you'll get a more vector graphic-y look with flatter colours, less like an illustration made with paints and paintbrushes. You might want to say add space for text or put space in the middle. Again, it's something that you have to experiment with. So in Midjourney, we'll put the prompt, just going to paste that in. So here are the results. These are the ones that I said to be vector graphics. So if you bring them into a vector editing software like Illustrator, Affinity Designer or Inkscape, then you could actually get rid of some of these flowers up here to make space for the book title, or you could just put the book title up here in a panel, or you could take them into something like Photoshop and bump up the contrast after upscaling, of course. But if you wanted pastel colours and a flowery background, this would be okay for me for a book cover on Amazon. Other book covers you can make with different colours, more contrasty, different types of floral backgrounds. You just have to get, again, creative with your prompts. But I used to have to pay for these. I used to have to go to a company or pay a designer to do book covers. Now I will just get them from my Midjourney subscription, as I do for all my print-on-demand image needs. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name's Rob Cubban. I'll see you in another video.